Mom, hi. I love you. Happy Mother's Day, and enjoy the game.
Everybody in South Florida is looking pretty in pink. After all, it's Mother's Day 2018, and hope you're having a happy Mother's Day in Braves country as we join you from South Florida. The Braves and Marlins meet for the fourth and final time here at Marlins Park. Atlanta a chance to take the series outright with a 3-1 series victory. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe. Happy Mother's Day. Hopefully it'll be a happy day for the Atlanta Braves, who certainly put on a clinic last night. Power and poise at the plate en route to a 5-run win over Miami.
Some things were very consistent with the way the Braves win, and last night was no exception the way it started. Freddie Freeman taking care of business, homering on the first pitch he saw of the night off the facing of the second deck. He hit another homer later in the ball game and tied the game, but then things started taking a funny turn, and it got a little worrisome that today might be for a split. Braves loaded the bases, and then Ender Inciarte went to work. An amazing 13-pitch at bat where he fouled off pitch after pitch after pitch, kept battling, and finally Steckenrider decided, you know what, I'm going to try and trick him with a breaking ball. He missed. Ball 4, tying run aboard. Then it was Tyler Flowers' turn, and Tyler did the same thing, and he forced in another run with a great at bat and a walk. So just when you think the Braves can only do things a certain way to win, they found another way to win last night, showing great plate discipline and showing and proving what they've been doing all along, and that's not striking out much, and that was a key part of that ball game last night.
And a ton of 2-out runs for Atlanta, not just last night, but all series long, and a ton of runs is exactly what Sean Newcomb hopes to get. He's been on a great roll, a very impressive scoreless streak working for the young Braves left-hander. When we come back, Paul Bird will talk about Sean's continued success as he faces the Marlins for the first time in Miami today.
presented by your Atlanta Hyundai dealers.
Welcome back to Miami, everybody, in the last game of a 4-game set. Well, Sean Newcomb will take the mound today. He has been fantastic this year, came up last year. I have to say this, when you get to the big leagues, there's always that little bit of doubt, that time where you wonder, is my stuff good enough? And then you realize it is, and then you start to trust it and throw strikes. Newcomb did that last year. This year, he's added a changeup, and that has translated to even better numbers. You see the last 2 starts, even threw a scoreless inning in a previous game before that, making it a 14-inning pitch scoreless streak. This season on the road, as you can see, has been fantastic. And how about that strikeout to inning pitch ratio, good for 6th best in the National League. Guys, he has added the changeup. It has been very nasty. He is a frontline starter. Talking to him before the game, he's relaxed and ready to go, and he said, hey, it's Mother's Day. I want to win one for Mom. Braves Marlins coming up next.
The Braves on a 4-1 road trip at 23-15 have a 1-game lead over the Phillies in the National League's Eastern Division. Everybody has the pink shoes, pink wristbands, pink undershirts. The Marlins with their pink caps. Even the batters boxes are painted pink for Mother's Day Sunday. And hopefully the Braves will be pretty in pink if they can win today and win this series outright against Jose Urena, who's winless on the season, believe it or not, for Miami. Joe, after winning 14 times last year.
Yeah, tremendous year for them last year. 14-7, a 3.82 ERA. Got off to an awful start with a 5.88 ERA, but he's gotten better. More Urena-like in his last 3 starts, primarily because he hadn't gotten any run support. His last outing against the Cubs, he pitched into the 6th inning, gave up 3 runs and no walks, and got shut out. So that's kind of how his luck's going right now. The Braves only hope he doesn't get it turned around today because he's got good stuff. Throws in the mid-90s with a good split and a changeup. What an outfit. Looking good on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to my mom back in Oklahoma.
And same here. My mom's in Missouri and Atlanta. And hopefully Ozzy can get things started for the Braves in good fashion today. Boy, the Braves are playing great against the division. Atlanta is 16-8 against the East, far and away the best record within the division. The Phillies, who are a game behind, are only 7-14 against their divisional foes. That's a trend we hope continues. Phillies are hoping to play the Mets today. They were rained out yesterday, and with Atlanta's 10-5 win last night, the Braves picked up a half game on them in the Eastern Division standings. So Urena turns it loose. We're underway, and that's outside, ball 1. 75 degrees inside Marlins Park. Rainy skies outside. The roof is on, as it was yesterday. Braves got 5 runs combined in the 8th and 9th innings to pull away last evening, and that's ball 2. He doesn't have many hits on the road trip, but the ones he's picked up done a lot of damage, as Joe and I were talking about before the game. That's nice to see. Contact to damage ratio out of the leadoff spot.
And it goes to the reason they're 4-1 is how the Braves have continued to play like they have all year long, scoring with 2 outs, hitting with runners in scoring position. They won one game 1-0 on the home run by Acuna. They do what they have to do.
And now Ozzy's working a count. 3 balls and a strike. Albies hasn't walked a ton for Atlanta. 8 of them in 38 games. And that's fouled away. It's a full count. Ureña's 2-3 lifetime against the Braves. 7 career starts. And that one's tapped up the middle. And a quick throw to first in plenty of time gets Albies. Rivera made the play. His first start of the series, and we're underway with a ground out to short. 1 down. Nice comeback for Ureña, who was behind 3 balls and a strike. Here's Ronald Acuna. He's 3 for 21 on the road trip. 3 homers, 6 RBIs.
Few fans still trickling in, but this is probably the smallest crowd of the 4 days. And that's saying something.
Last night, a little over 12,000 were here. Under 10,000 the first 2 games of this series. And Ureña now 3-0 to Acuna, who's walked but 4 times this year. Tim Timmons said that was good enough. 3-1 the count. Now that's a full count.
Out in front of 96. So was Albies. He was ahead of a 95 fastball.
Boy, look at Ureña's cap. He's already worked up a lather. He's thrown 11 pitches. And fouled back.
He's very demonstrative. You're going to see a lot of, I don't know, I guess you could call them antics. Quite a showman on the mound. He's had some issues with hitters that he has plunked in the past.
Swing and a miss. He fell behind Acuna 3-0. Came back and got him on strikes. 2 outs.
Ronald now 2 for 15 in the series.
But here's the hottest man on the Braves roster. That's Freddie Freeman. As Joe said, hotter than a dancing bobcat with a hot bat. And that continues. First pitch rope. Wow. 9 hits in the series, and Freeman hasn't struck out in the series.
Well, no one's more locked in on Mother's Day than Freddie Freeman. But when you're hot, I'm not sure if you're going to stay with the bat that got you there or you're going to change bats. Looked like he stayed with the one he used last night.
Nick Markakis the batter. Looking at the numbers for Freeman, Markakis, and Inciarte in this series. That single by Freeman gives that trio a total of 20 hits in the first 3 games. Inciarte, Markakis, and Freddie Freeman have combined to strike out 3 times.
That's amazing. Freddie's up to 336 his average.
That's good for 3rd in the league. Adubel Herrera's first at 360. Nick Markakis second, batting 346. Nick 6 for 14 in the series. Took a strike. It's 2-1. That's sprayed out of play. Now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Atlanta's done an excellent job of scoring runs in the first inning. The Braves have scored 37 times in the opening frame this year. Freeman hit a first inning homer last night to give Mike Soroka an early lead. And the Braves have him right where they want him now. A 2-out opportunity for Markakis, who takes outside. It's now full 3-2. Braves have scored 17 of their 22 runs in this series with 2 outs. They have 105 2-out runs this year. They have been awfully tough to put away. And now Freeman will run. The pitch is hit a mile high into shallow left. Rivera drifts out at short. Maben joins him, and the ball falls. And here comes Freddie around third. He's going to score. It gets away from Realmuto, and Markakis is in at second base. Maben and Rivera got their signals crossed, and the Braves get a first inning gift.
That's why you keep running, and that's why you run hard until they tell you to stop. And that's why Freddie was able to get all the way around the sacks. Cameron pulled up, and Rivera looked like he was waving for it, and then he looked for Cameron, who wasn't there. Tracking, and then stopped, and it almost hit him. Almost hit Rivera.
So that's going to be a base hit for Markakis. Freeman scores on the error. Nick takes second on the bad throw, and the Braves with another 2-out run. Another first inning run, lead 1-0. And Nick gets an RBI on that play as well. Unbelievable.
Just what Urania was hoping would happen, you know, as his luck continues to go the right direction. Good grief.
The Marlins have lost each of his 8 starts, and all of his losses have come here on his home mound, which is very odd. And he's already behind 1-0 for Ender Inciarte, who, as we said in the past week, has batted 9th, 7th, 6th, and today 5th. He's slowly making his way back to the top, and maybe, I should say, the middle, and maybe the top of the order for Atlanta. 5 for 12 in this series. Couple of homers. And out of play foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the side effect of that ball that dropped, Urania on a muggy afternoon has to pile up the pitches here in the first.
All of those are good things for the Braves.
You seeing anything different for Ender other than the obvious results, which have been good here on the road trip?
Just what I was talking about in the in Braves Live, and that is that I've seen him be more patient early in the count. He's taking a few first pitches and not getting himself in a hole. I thought that worked well for him in the 8th inning last night when he drew that walk. He was seeing the ball better and trusting his hands to do the work. Before, he was doing kind of what Camargo's doing right now, and that's trying to get started too early, committing too soon, not waiting and allowing the ball to travel.
Pitch number 25 from Urania is forthcoming for Ender. A ball and 2 strikes. Did he go? He did not. Urania was on his way to the Miami dugout.
I don't blame him. Looked like a good pitch. Not just a check swing, but a good pitch. 97 right on the inside corner. Ender caught a break there. Ball came back, was tailing.
And here goes Ender again, fouling off some nasty stuff, this time from Urania in the opening inning. Now the 2-2 is fouled away again.
How do you like that pink catching gear that Real Muto's got?
Today's Marlins game sponsored by Pepto-Bismol.
No trouble finding JT back there, is there?
Anders is going to see his 8th pitch. And he's going to see a 9th. Full count. Boy, it's got to be so frustrating to pitch to this Braves lineup because you don't know who's taking and you don't know who's swinging early in the count. Freeman jumped all over a first pitch, singled, and he scored the game's first run. And now Ureña's 29th pitch is stroked towards second, and Castro's got it. His peg to first is in time, and that retires the side. Nick Markakis hit one a mile high. It drops between Maybin and Rivera. Freeman scores. It's 1-0. First run, and the way Sean Newcomb is pitching, Joe, if he keeps it up, one might be enough.
Old Pinky Newcomb has done real well on his 5 road starts. He's 3-0 with a 1.78 ERA and a sub-200 average against him, and he's got 14 straight shutout innings working coming into this start. 24 years old, 6'5", 255. His Ford Keys today. That changeup has been outstanding. Let's hope he's got it working again today. 0-2 and 1-2 counts. The last couple of days, both McCarthy and then Soroka would get ahead, and then they would give up hits. Soroka, particularly last night, made some mistakes in those counts. Hopefully Sean will not.
Cameron Maybin, first Marlin to stand in, and it's a called strike. 0-1. That's instrumental in Sean's success too. First pitch strikes, a lot of them.
You're right.
He's going right after Maybin, who's leading off for Miami.
Oh, you gotta love those. Well done, Cameron. Here's the first 0-2 count.
Swing and a miss. Really telegraphed that pitch. It was up, and Maybin still swung through it. So Newcomb has his first man retired via strikeout. Cameron Maybin.
Big old hook. Got away with that one.
That's the old, it was so bad it was good pitch.
Yes.
Here's Martin Prado. Martin does not have a hit this year against an opposing left-handed pitcher. Hope that continues today. And downstairs, ball 1.
See Kurt giving those signs a little lower than normal. Truck's telling us that he told Kurt he couldn't see him back in the normal spot.
We often see Tyler Flowers wearing the reflective tape on the fingernails. none for Kurt. Maybe that'll change for the second inning. We'll see. 2 balls and a strike. And driven down the right field line. That is just foul. And look at Martin. Hands held skyward, wondering if he'll ever get a hit against a lefty. He just missed.
What have I got to do?
Martin, don't get greedy. You snapped your 0 for 19 in this series.
Freddie was looking up like at the roof like, what are you waving to up there? Freeman's been cracking me up in the field the last couple of days.
2-2 pitch. Popped up. Long run. Can Markakis get there? Yep, he can. And Ozzie Albies lost his baseball cap. He ran out of that. Not just the helmet, but the baseball cap as he chased that one down and right.
Well, everybody's got a new cap on, so they're trying to get the right size and get the right fit. I got to say, with that navy, it looks pretty good.
So Sean's got his first 2 retired. JT Realmuto moves down to the number 3 spot in the order. The Marlins trying to manufacture some offense with Realmuto, who's a big-time run producer, but has been leading off quite a bit for Miami. They're 6-5 when Realmuto bats first.
Yeah, and they need somebody to get on and get things started. His on-base percentage is good. He runs well, and that's why he's been up there. They've got other guys. Cameron Maben has led off a huge portion of his major league career. He's in there today.
And I'm sure they'd love Brinson to do it.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, you can't steal that first base.
No. And they'd prefer to have Realmuto in the heart of the order to drive in runs.
Sean's been efficient with 2 strikes so far. He's got Realmuto behind in the count. And he just struck him out. Well, I think Mr. Newcomb's got the Ford Keys settled in the first inning. 2 strikeouts, and he leads 1-0.
Delivers the fastest internet with the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. And by Delta Airlines.
Good start for Atlanta. 1-0. A couple of hits in the first inning. A messed up defensive play for Miami. And then Sean Newcomb with a 1-2-3 first inning. Joe got 2 strikes on all 3 hitters and threw a grand total of 3 pitches after he got the 2 strikes to finish him off.
That is awesome. Great start. Kurt's got to lead off, so he didn't even have time to go in and paint his fingernails. maybe he will after he trots around the bases.
There you go. Kurt, 274 average, 5 homers. He's looking for his first road trip hit today.
Braves have their 38th first inning run. Let's see what Suzuki, Flaherty, and Camargo can do here in the second. Urania had to throw 37 first inning pitches.
You know, there was a time where the Braves were scoring runs in bunches, and up and down the lineup, it seemed like every night, every day, somebody different was the really big star of that day. That's not necessarily the case right now, and I know they scored 10 runs last night, but you look at the lineup, and Acuna is hitting 143 on this road trip. Suzuki's 0 for his last 11. Camargo's hitting 125 on this road trip. It's not like everybody's blistering the baseball at the moment. They're just getting a ton of production from the center of it.
Freeman and Markakis in particular, Ender heating up as that one's ricocheted into the Miami dugout.
Heads up, Freddie. Don't go the other way.
He's telling Wash to do the same thing.
Yeah. That's great.
I would love it if Kurt hit a line drive to right field and then looked over there and just said, put his hands up, say, is that okay? 2-2. Strike three. Suzuki knew it. And Urania has his second punch out, and the leadoff man down here in the Braves second.
That was just a backup slider that stayed there. Target was down and away. It didn't go anywhere, but locked him up. This guy struck out 40 batters in 46 innings, so the fact that he's 0-5 is just kind of incredible to me. Way better than his numbers.
Well, no run support, as you said. Big problem for him. And he's given up a lot of hits with runners in scoring position. So if you get a chance, take advantage against Urania. Opponent's hitting .278 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position this year against the Marlins starter. And as we said, we know how good the Braves are in those spots.
What did you tell me before the game about him being their opening day starter?
He is the 7th man in 7 years to start opening day.
That's crazy.
Flaherty down the line, foul. It's 2-2.
Think about Julio Teheran making 5 straight for the Braves. Is that right?
I think you're correct. Back in the book of knowledge here. Yep, 5 straight. And a swing and a miss. Flaherty's retired. Back-to-back strikeouts for Urania. 2 up, 2 down for Camargo.
Took a little off his fastball. It was 91 miles an hour. Watch it die down and away. Good pitch. Great movement.
Strike 1 for Camargo. So Urania started opening day this year. Edinson Volquez started opening day in 17. Wei-Yin Chen in 16. Alvarez in 15. Fernandez in 14. Nolasco in 13. Josh Johnson in 2012.
Amazing. Josh Johnson.
He started 3 straight opening days for Miami, 2010, 2011, and 2012.
What a shame he got hurt.
Little chopper hit towards second, and Castro takes care of Camargo. Urania has a 1-2-3 inning with a couple of strikeouts. game live or on demand at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.tv for all the details. Good start for Mr. Newcomb. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts and 3 pitches thrown after 2 strikes. To the first 3 Miami hitters, Castro the cleanup man for Don Mattingly on his Toyota lineup card. Anderson and Brinson to follow here in inning number 2.
Castro's had a pretty good series, 3 for 13 with a home run, but he's also had some at bats in key spots for the Marlins in this series and unable to come through.
Little pop down the line and a great one-handed catch.
That away.
Some sarcastic fans might be saying, why wasn't he playing left field an inning ago? That's right there. It's 0-2. Castro fouled it back. He's been one of the better hitters for Miami this year against left-handed pitching. A hefty .385 mark with 4 of his 18 RBIs.
Good pitch. Bounced it up there, couldn't get him to chase, but didn't give him anything to hit.
That's a good ratio. And now a 1-2 pitch. It's rolled to short. Johan's got it. And his throw on the money to take care of Starlin Castro. 3 pitches after strike 2 gets him 4 up, 4 down.
Might have been the first changeup he's thrown.
Well, if the first 2 are working, why show it to him unless you have to?
And in a good spot, too.
Here's Brian Anderson. The more I see this guy play, the more I like him. Playing out of position in the outfield because they have Martin Prado anchored at third base here. Anderson's had a couple of hits in the series and made a fantastic throw from deep right field last night to get Freddie Freeman at third base.
Yeah, and first of all, he's a big guy, big and strong. We're told he likes to play, loves to play. Was told he was going to have to go to right field, and he's not even taking ground balls at third base anymore. But working hard to be a better right fielder.
He's driven home 19 men. And now 2-2.
Change up.
That's hammered into the left field corner. This guy can hit. So Miami has their first base runner, a ringing 1-out double by Brian Anderson, his 10th 2-base hit of the year.
Well, it wasn't 0-2 and it wasn't 1-2, but it was 2-2, and this was right down the middle, maybe inner third. And you're right, this guy can throw the barrel of the bat at the ball. It did stay in the park. That's a good thing.
So Sean goes to the stretch for the first time. Lewis Brinson's coming up. Brinson at 177 for the year. He's got 3 hits in the series. that was foul. Brinson tapped it right back to Kurt Suzuki.
And Tim Timmons didn't say anything until after he tapped it back to Kurt. But it wasn't going anywhere in that clay.
One ball, one strike. And right on by at 94. So 1-2. Newcomb's had a couple of 2-2 counts. A couple of 0-2 counts. Now he's got Brinson set up 1-2. Little number right back to the mound. There'll be one play, runner to third, 2 outs.
That might have been that big, slow, loopy curveball.
So the Marlins' 24-year-old center fielder taps out.
Nice.
And it will be Miguel Rojas, who's playing first base for Miami today. Justin Bour gets the day off with hard-throwing left-hander on the mound for Atlanta. Rojas has had a good series. He's 5 for 12, but only 1 RBI.
Hitting the ball hard to right field, too.
And look at how Freddie lines up at first base. He's well off the line, trying to take away that angle if possible. Ball 1. Anderson at third after a 1-out double. He took third on the ground out to the hill. Now Miguel Rojas with 2 outs. Ground ball just foul at third. 1-1. Rojas is out of Venezuela. Was acquired with D. Gordon from the Dodgers for Andrew Haney, Chris Hatcher, Kike Hernandez, and Austin Barnes. Swing and a miss. Another 1-2 count.
That changeup is 88, 89, somewhere in that velocity range versus 93, 94. It's not a drastic gap in between his top end and his changeup, but it's enough to really throw him off, and he does a great job of disguising it. But you don't want to throw it up there.
Got away with one of those to Cameron Maben to start the game. And Rojas fought that one off. A ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Newcomb's changeup is starting to dance and dart. He's got his 3rd strikeout. Henderson left stranded 90 feet away. Sean's going to lead off the Atlanta 3rd. He'll look to add to a 1-0 Braves lead. Matters into his own hands to start the third inning against Jose Urena, who set down his last 4 in order. Newcomb, Albies, and Acuna for the Braves here in Miami. Excuse me, 37 of the 44 pitches for Urena came in the first inning. That's downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes for Newcomb. Urena fell behind a lot of Braves hitters in the first inning, rallied in the second, and he's gone 2-0 to the Braves pitcher. Foul at third. And Newcomb gets another swing here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And that caught the inside corner. Perfect pitcher's pitch down and in. Newcomb's retired. 5 up, 5 down for Urena, who has struck out 4 hitters. Now we go back to the top. Albies is 0 for 1. He grounded out to short. And he broke his bat and rolls out to second.
Nice change up there from Urena, had him out front. Talked to Ozzie today before the ball game about the video he showed last night of his baby sister watching him play and hitting the home run a couple of nights ago. And she's only 15 months old, but boy, does she know when her big brother's up and when he hits a homer.
Acuna takes a strike. He struck out in the opening inning. As you said, Ronald's in a slide of 5 for 34 at the plate. The only way to figure that out is to play him. He's not going to learn anything sitting on the bench. At least that's the thinking for Brian Snitker today. See how he fares against Urena, who's throwing hard. 2 balls and a strike. And 3-1.
Now then, get a good pitch. 3-1 does not mean he's going to throw one down the middle.
So it's full now, 3-2. There's ball 4. And Acuna reaches in front of Freddie Freeman. That could be a big at bat in this game. The Braves lead 1-0, and Freddie is as hot as you could possibly be. Urena doesn't walk many. That's only his 12th walk this year in almost 48 innings. Freeman jumped on the first pitch, and Urena wasn't going to let that happen again. He missed it badly up and away. 1-0.
Nine for 13, 3 homers.
That's outside, ball 2.
Well, they're making the switch now on their middle infielders on their shift, and it's not even a 2-1 count. I tell you, this shift has really messed with Freddie. He's losing sleep over it. He's only 9 for 13.
It's way outside. Then you got to pick your poison. Nick Markakis waits on deck. He's the second highest batting average man in the league.
See if Freddie gets a green light here. 3-0.
Too low. Back-to-back walks. So here's Nick Markakis. He had the fateful hit in the first inning, a ball that dropped between Rivera and Maben. And Nick having a great month of May, as you see on our Georgia Lottery jackpot.
And his last 20 games against this ball club, RBIs and runs and a good average.
Braves have him right where they want him. 2 outs. And way upstairs, ball 1. Not only are the Braves scoring a lot of runs with 2 outs, they're hitting for a high average as a team. Braves are hitting .308 as a club with 2 outs. That is crazy, with a .390 on base.
Even if you don't score, that's extending an inning and making a pitcher work longer. Base, slugging, RBIs, and hits. Great approach with 2 outs. And a great approach also when they have 2 strikes.
1 ball, 1 strike. 2 on, 2 out. And those ranks, folks, were not National League ranks. That was everybody, the entire major leagues. Braves, the anti-3 outcome offensive club. And now Nick ahead in the count. 2 balls and a strike. Pickoff play at second. The throw was high, however.
There was somebody at home, and I heard him through my headset just said, "What does that mean? 3 outcome."
Oh.
Okay.
Home run, walk, strikeout, instead of putting the ball in play.
And that's from all the sabermetric geniuses. That's what ought to happen.
Well, on base percentage is the de rigueur outcome you want. 2-1 count. Line toward left. Maben on the run. Slides to his backside and makes the play. And he, with a big sigh of relief, looks skyward as he hangs on. Markakis scalded that baby, and the Braves out of luck in the 3rd inning. Maben almost misplayed that into a run-scoring hit. Sean Newcomb will face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for Miami here in the third inning. Yadiel Rivera, the shortstop, gets it started. Rivera hitting 133 with 14 strikeouts in 30 at bats.
Hey, Paul Bird, are you there?
I'm here.
I have a question for you, Mr. Former Major League pitcher. Hitters, when they get to the big leagues, oftentimes, are concerned about, boy, these guys are big league pitchers. I mean, never get a hit until they figure out that they've got to throw it over the plate, too. And I heard you talking about on the Braves pregame show about similar things for pitchers, and in this case, Sean Newcomb. Would you care to expound on that, please?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how well you did in the minor leagues. When you get up to the big leagues, these are the best hitters in the world, and there's always that little bit of doubt or question in the back of your mind. Is my stuff good enough? Last year, we saw Newcomb learn that his stuff was good enough, and he started to throw strikes in his last 3 starts. And then the question was, okay, what do I have to do to get to the next level? And what they told him was, you're a 2-pitch pitcher. So to get to the next level, you have to add another pitch. That for him has been the changeup, the equalizer. And all of a sudden, guys are not as confident when they swing because they know that changeup's in the back pocket.
Full count for Rivera and fouled back.
You know what the cool thing about that changeup is to me for Sean, Paul, is that he doesn't have to throw it for a strike. If he gets ahead in the count with his fastball, he doesn't have to throw it down the middle. He can throw it down low out of the zone and get chases.
Right, I agree. And the next question is, well, then why doesn't everybody do that? And as you saw on that grip, it's a very hard thing to learn. I did not learn a changeup till I was 28 years old, and I had tried for 7 years. And that all of a sudden made my 88-mile-an-hour fastball good enough because it was the equalizer. But when you throw a fastball with the index finger and the middle finger, and all of a sudden in the middle of a game, you're going to scoot that over, throw it off the middle finger and the ring finger or the end, that's really tough to do, throwing it for a strike with the same arm action as your fastball.
Well, that pitch hurts. He got ahead of Rivera, a ball and 2 strikes, and then walked him. So Miami has the leadoff man on here for Urania, who has not yet laid down a sacrifice this year. He's 1 for 13 with 10 punch-outs.
Yeah, and tough to swallow when the guy's 4 for 30 and just getting a spot start. You put him on leading off an inning.
Joe, I have a question for you.
Okay.
When you were a hitter and you knew a pitcher had a great changeup, and you went up to the plate and that was in the back of your mind, were you afraid to be embarrassed? Did it not matter, or were you more cautious?
You know what I tried to do, Paul, was look for it early in the count.
Okay.
I would try to take it away from him, and if he didn't throw it to me and I got caught 0-2 looking for it and it wasn't there, shame on me. But it's kind of like a guy who has a good left-handed curveball. They're going to show it to you. They can't wait to throw it to you as a left-handed hitter. So just sit on it.
No balls and a strike for Urania. Called a strike, 0-2. Well, situations like this, facing a guy pitching as well as Newcomb for Urania, might be a reason why he's 0-5. Looks like Sean's not going to give up many runs today. But a chance to sacrifice Rivera into scoring position with Maben and Prado coming up, and he can't do it. He just struck out. So 4 strikeouts for Newcomb. Rivera is still at first. Double play in order for Maben, who struck out to start the game. Lifted in the air to right. Pretty well hit. Markakis is back and makes the grab a step shy of the fence. Maben flies out to deep right on the first pitch. 2 outs.
It sounded good, too. I think Maben thought he got it. Cameron made a good play there in the top half of the inning to end the inning on a ball that he lost in the lights momentarily, but still caught it. And just missed there, giving them the lead.
So it's up to Martin Prado. He popped out in the first inning. Newcomb's given up 1 hit, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. And downstairs, ball 1.
He walked 3 in his last outing at Tampa Bay in 6 innings. Only 2 hits allowed there. That was a great 1-0 win for the Braves, first game of the road trip.
Newcomb trying to extend his scoreless inning streak to 17 consecutive with another out here in the Marlins third. Julio Teheran has a 15-inning scoreless streak working in rotation for Atlanta. He'll pitch in Chicago tomorrow, weather permitting, we understand. Swing and a miss, a ball and a strike.
Yeah, the forecast not real good in Chicago. That'll be a heck of a note to go up there to play a makeup game and not get to play it.
One ball, 1 strike. Sean's gotten to 2 strikes on every Marlins hitter but Maben. Now he's 3-1 to Prado.
Make a good pitch here. Don't pitch to Real Muto with 2 guys on. If Martin gets a base hit, so be it. They got enough confidence, they're going with the changeup.
And it missed. Second walk of the inning. And now Real Muto will come up with 2 on, 2 out. Real Muto struck out swinging in the first inning. Now Suzuki out for a chat. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, that was 3 straight changeups, and they all missed. And like I said earlier, if you're ahead in the count and those borderline changeups are around the plate, you force the hitter to swing. But 3-1 to Prado, he didn't have to swing. Ball 4. Same with the first 2 pitches of this at bat to Real Muto. He's in no hurry to hack at that pitch because he's not behind in the count. Being patient, trying to get something to drive in a run and tie the game.
Rivera represents that tying run at second. And Sean got the call there. 2 balls and a strike. Right on by, 2-2.
Came back with 2 fastballs, which is what he struck him out on in the first inning.
So let's see what Kurt Suzuki wants here. The pitch. Breaking ball, bang to third. Flaherty steps on the bag, and that is that. So the Marlins threatened but failed to break through in the third inning. They strand a pair thanks to a couple of Newcomb walks. After 3, the Braves lead 1-0, and Ender's coming up next.
Especially to mine, Milixa. I love you, Mom.
And Ender's going to lead off for Atlanta here in the 4th inning. He'll be followed by Kurt Suzuki and Ryan Flaherty. Ender batting in the number 5 spot for the Braves today. Again, since May the 6th, he's batted 9th, 7th, 6th, and 5th. See if he can get something started here. The Braves haven't put a leadoff man on yet, but they got a gift run in the first, and that's the difference in the game. First pitch swing, and it's skied toward Brinson in center. And Lewis is there, makes the two-handed catch. 1 pitch, 1 out. Kurt Suzuki struck out looking in the Braves' second.
Kurt works hard between starts. If it's not his day to catch, he's out doing his agility drills, working in the cones, stretching. Maybe a day off from playing, but from starting, I should say, but it's not a day off from getting your work in.
Driven down the right field line, but slicing into the stands. And now Kurt's behind 0-2. Told the Phillies and Mets are hoping to start in about 15 minutes. And bad weather rain out their game last night. If they get started, they've got a good one on tap today. Tell you about that after the pitch. Again to right, another chance for that group of fans. It's Jacob deGrom off the disabled list today for New York. Aaron Nola for the Phillies. Mets have beaten the Phillies all 3 times they faced them this year.
They have a tremendous record at Citizens Bank Park.
0-2 pitch. If I'm the Phillies, I'm a little worried. As good as they've been this year, at 22-16, I'm worried about their record in the division. They are playing .333 baseball against the rest of the East. Oh, 0-2 for Suzuki. No swing, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Both of those teams are off tomorrow. So if they got rained out again today, they may have to stick around the Mets and play tomorrow.
Right into the shift. And an easy peck to first by Castro. Suzuki's retired. 2 up, 2 down in the 4th. Later on, Washington plays Arizona. Hellickson versus Godley out west. The Nationals the first team this year to win in a season series outright against Arizona. Nationals have won 12 of their last 14 games. They won 2-1 yesterday in Phoenix. Washington starts play a game and a half behind Atlanta in 3rd place.
Since 2014, the Mets are 53-25 overall against Philadelphia. Owned them.
So we'll see what happens later on today. The pitch is off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs play the White Sox today at Wrigley Field. We'll be there tomorrow. The Cubs are rolling. They've won 5 straight games. As Castro another chance, surrounded it, bobbled it, but recovered in time. And that takes care of Atlanta in order again, this time in the 4th. 1-0 Braves. Pink everywhere today in Miami as we celebrate Mother's Day 2018. Lineup cards, bats, caps, stadium signage, umpires getting in the spirit of things.
So you want to be a Major League Equipment manager? This road trip was a real test for John Holland and his boys. Not only did they have to pack all the regular road gear, the gray uniform, the navy blue top, the regular hats, but now all of the Mother's Day gear that goes with that. The pink hats and what paraphernalia we just showed you. But now on top of that, the team has to go to Chicago tomorrow and play in that makeup game. That game was scheduled for April 15th, which was Jackie Robinson Day. Well, tomorrow both teams are going to wear number 42 because they didn't on Jackie Robinson Day. They got rained out. So John Holland and his crew had to pack those uniforms as well.
And of course it's the 3rd city on the trip, so you have to lug it to the first 2 spots. 2 balls and a strike to Castro. The visitors locker room at Wrigley Field is so tiny you couldn't just ship those uniforms ahead and have them store them there. Nope, they have to crate them and uncrate them in Tampa, Miami, and then again in Chicago for one day, and then pack it all back up to come home Tuesday. Another changeup. Flaherty left side. 360 spin. Freeman had it pop out of his pocket. So Starlin Castro reaches on a 3-1 ground ball. And Miami has the leadoff man on for the second time in as many innings.
That whip around by Flaherty cost him. Took a little steam out of his throw. And Freddie will tell you he should have had that, because he always seems to, but that was a tough play.
So a leadoff man aboard in front of Anderson, who ripped a double into left field in the second inning. That was the first and only Miami hit.
Only the second error by Flaherty.
Two balls and a strike. Sean's fallen behind the last 4 or 5 hitters.
Yeah, his off-speed stuff's a little off kilter here the last couple of innings.
Double play ball. That should be routine, and it is. 2 for the price of 1. And Lewis Brinson's coming up with the bases empty. Brinson hit a comebacker to the mound and was retired back in the second. We've talked a couple of times about how the Marlins traded away all their all-stars, including Christian Yelich. Brinson was a big part of the package that came back. He was Milwaukee's minor league player of the year last year after he hit .331 at Colorado Springs. In the air to center. Great jump for Ender, and Newcomb works around the air. A double play and a pop out, and the Marlins are done very quickly in the home fourth. Sherwin-Williams game summary as we get set for the 5th inning.
So far, so good for Sean Newcomb. 4 innings. He has not allowed a run, only 1 hit. He's pitched around a couple of walks, and the Braves got a huge break in the top of the 1st inning on a miscommunication on a pop fly that allowed a run to score.
That brought home Freddie Freeman from first base. Nick Markakis got the single, the RBI, and so far that's all the scoring. See if Camargo can get something started. Johan's 0 for 1 with a ground out. And he's going to be 0 for 2 as that play is made by Rojas at first base. 5 up, 5 down for Urania. And 1 away for Newcomb. Sean took strike 3 his first time up. Braves have a great race brewing in the National League East. National League Central's not too shabby either. Got the Cardinals and Pirates tied for first. The Cubs and Milwaukee are a half game back.
That'll be fun to watch.
Arizona's lead out west has been trimmed to 2.5 games over Colorado, as this one's chopped up the middle. Bare hand play, throw to first in time. Beautifully done. Nice play by Starlin Castro to get Newcomb.
Barehanded grab too. Well done. Got a big bounce. That helped.
Starlin Castro, you might forget, is a 4-time All-Star, 3 times in the National League, once in the American League. The AL honor came last season with the Yankees. And a strike for Ozzie.
He was on the national or the World Series champion for the Cubs, right?
Cubs won it in 16, right? So no, he was traded. That ball is down the first base line. Close play and in time. Albies is retired. And it's 3 up, 3 down again for Urania, who set down 7 straight. Albies 0 for 3. Game here on Mother's Day in Miami. Sean Newcomb has been very impressive again for the Braves. Sean has allowed just 1 hit. Got a big double play last inning. He's got the 7, 8, 9 hitters here in the 5th for Miami. Rojas, Rivera, and Urania coming up. "18 consecutive scoreless innings for Sean Newcomb working this afternoon. And he falls behind ball 2 to Rojas, whom he struck out to end the 2nd inning. 3-0. Popped up. Will it stay in play? Suzuki over near the Braves dugout. Can't get there.
May have had one more step. Yeah, to reach in. Mad at himself for not getting there.
So Sean's battle back to a full count. Let's see if he can rally and get Rojas here. That was not called a strike, and Newcomb can't believe it. He was walking around the mound thinking he was going to get strike 3 called. Instead, it's ball 4.
That looked pretty good. And tried to catch this behind his back. Glad Timmons didn't see that.
So Yadiel Rivera, the batter, he walked and was forced out at third to end the third for Miami. Marlins have gotten some base runners in the second, third, fourth, and now here in the fifth. Down a run. Bottom part of the order is coming up. One ball, one strike. Miami is not a running team. Marlins have only tried 16 stolen bases this year. They've been successful 9 times. They think about trying to manufacture something against either Newcomb or somebody else who may pitch today. That's not been part of their master offensive plan.
They are 3-6 against left-handed starters so far on the year too. 5-5 in day games. The Braves are 9-2 in day games.
One ball, 2 strikes. Now 2-2. And Sean's repeating what he did to Rivera back in the 3rd inning. He was ahead of him, a ball and 2 strikes, and then it ended up walking him. Threw 5 pitches after he got to strike 2. Runner goes, it's fouled away. Freddie Gonzalez watches that dance by. Nice catch by a fan in the front row, and we'll do it again with a full count. Rojas takes off, swing and a miss. Suzuki's throw. Talbes fires back to first and safe. Rojas slammed on the brakes after Rivera swung and missed. He scrambled back, and he stands there now with 1 out.
Part of the reason he was able to get back was that he had a short lead and a lousy jump. So he didn't have far to go back. And it's a good thing he did, because Kurt would have nailed him.
Urania couldn't get a bunt down his last time up, and still can't. Strike 1. Ureña's first big league RBI came against the Braves last September. This year he's 1 for 14 with 11 strikeouts. He got that one down, and it's a beaut. And Flaherty takes over and makes the peg to first.
He might have been the most surprised guy in the ballpark. When it hit his bat, he kind of looked around, looked down like, oh.
Hey, it's fair. There he goes.
And a little, I got it, you take it. On who was going to make the throw. Flaherty made a good one.
Ureña's first sacrifice has Rojas at second. Now Cameron Maben the batter. He almost hit a home run last time up. He chased Nick Markakis back to within a step of the right field fence. Ground ball. Camargo to his left, gets rid of it quickly, and the inning is over. Newcomb works around a leadoff walk. He has qualified for the win. He leads 1-0.
To my wife, you truly are the rock of the family, and I just want to say I love you and happy Mother's Day.
Very nice sentiment for Freddie Freeman. His wife Chelsea and little Charlie were on the road trip earlier. Saw them over in Tampa Bay. Charlie was running around the restaurant like it was Disneyland. He was having a blast.
He is one cute little boy.
Yes, he is. So Braves go to work here in the 6th inning. Acuna, Freeman, and Markakis. Ureña's settling in. He's retired 7 straight. And Ronald down a quick strike. It's 0-1. He has punched out and walked in today's game. Braves are 7-4 in the month of May. Gunning for win number 24 today. Acuna 0-2.
Ureña's done a nice job with his changeup. That includes the first inning. He pitched well the first inning. Looked like he was out of the inning until the defense let him down.
So when your offense lets you down and the defense lets you down, you're usually down on the scoreboard, and he is, but only by a run. 2-2. And the Marlins have not won a single start that their 14-game winner from last year has pitched this year. The team record in such starts is 12 in a row. That was suffered by Brian Moeller back in 2006. That's a little squibber that's going to stay fair. And Acuna off the end of the bat's going to have an extra base hit. And he stands at second base with a squib double. Maybe that'll get him going.
Yeah, he needed a little something like that. All Rojas could do was stand there and watch it. He was too far off the line to be able to do anything about it. Right off the end of the bat and right on the chalk.
Braves have 6 hits with runners in scoring position in this series. They're 6 for 23. Here's a chance for Freddie. He singled, scored, and walked.
And you'd love to see him pull the ball again.
A 9 for 13 series at the plate. And rifled out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Longtime Major League scout paid Freddie Freeman, I think, one of the best compliments I've ever heard. When he was talking about the Braves first baseman, he said Freddie Freeman is a left-hand hitting Miguel Cabrera. When you think about what Miguel Cabrera has done in his great Major League career, and you see where Freddie is at this stage in his, one, a great compliment. What a special run we're going to look forward to from Freddie Freeman. He does pull the ball to the right side. Great at bat for Freeman. Runner to third with 1 out.
Yeah, you're putting the hole a little bit on a borderline call. That would be nice if Sean Newcomb got those borderline calls, but Urania did. Freddie had to take a little off his swing and get the runner to third, which he did.
Something else the Braves have done a good job of, playing ABC baseball this year. Now it's Nick Markakis' chance to bring home Acuna with a big second run. Nick has the lone RBI in the game. He also hit a line drive that Maben caught in left. Strike 1. Infield comes in for Miami with 1 out. Nick having a remarkable year. Already 30 runs batted in. And out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hasn't had much stress, but he's pushing toward 100 pitches now.
That's a good point. He hasn't, but he's gotten ahead of Nick right away. Going to try to keep the ball away from him.
So now it's 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Markakis down on strikes. Big out for Urania. Now the infield can back up to normal depth. It's up to Ender to keep the inning alive.
That's a huge strikeout against a guy who doesn't strike out. Up and away.
It's only the 15th time Nick has struck out this year. That a big one, though. Acuna still at third, 2 outs. Ender 0 for 2. Ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Had him reaching for that one.
Marlins will have their 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up in their half of the 6th. They've been 1 hit so far by Sean Newcomb. Swing and a drive deep toward right field. Ender got all of that, baby. A 2-run homer.
A 1-1 count. He can look for the changeup, and he made a mistake with it upstairs. And everybody knew. He guessed right, stayed back, and got one elevated that made it even easier for him to put a good swing on it.
2 more 2-out runs for the Braves today. They now lead by 3 in Miami. Ender's 3rd home run. And he's got 18 RBIs now.
2nd in as many days.
Now Suzuki pops one up. Rojas near the stands takes a peek but won't have a play.
Ureña's got a lot of outs with his changeup the last 2 innings. Really the last 3 innings. But made a mistake with it there, and Ender was all over it.
So all that cage work and preparation pays off for Ender in the 6th. 1 ball, 1 strike. And fouled off Real Muto. 1 and 2 for the Braves catcher, Kurt Suzuki. (20) of the Braves' 25 runs have come with 2 outs in this 4-game series. That is amazing. 1-2 pitch. Grounded towards short. And Rivera's got it. His pegged to first in time, and that retires the side. Lightning strikes again for Atlanta. Ender Inciarte with his 2nd homer, as Joe said, in as many games. Newcomb's got a 3-run lead in Game 4 on Mother's Day. Braves and Sean Newcomb some breathing room as we head to the home 6th inning. Prado, Real Muto, and Castro are coming up. I can't imagine what 2-out production does for the rest of your offense. And the way Sean Newcomb is pitching, to go out there with a 3-run lead, he's got to feel truly like he's the king of the hill.
They're like bonus runs. They're unexpected.
So Prado leads off and pops one over the screen.
But runners in scoring position, and especially 2-out runners in scoring position, if you're doing a good job there, you're winning a lot of games, and that's what the Braves are doing.
And when you talk about strikeouts are like any other out, well, look at this Braves offense, and I would say that's the counter argument. This team puts the ball in play.
You'd say Pshaw.
Among other things, yes.
109 is the pitch count high for Sean this year, and that was at Chicago in that game the Braves should have won and led by a big margin. You'd have another W in the column.
Well, he walks Prado for the second time. And Sean's starting to lose some of that pinpoint command here. 2 walks in the 3rd. A walk in the 5th and now a walk in the 6th. That's kind of marring what's been an excellent performance to this point. It's 4 free passes. And walking people in front of this guy is a dangerous proposition.
Sure is.
Real Muto. And Chuck Hernandez is going to come out.
Yeah, is this 2 trips? I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's 1 for Suzuki, and then Hernandez comes out. So on the big board, kind of like the way the Marlins do this, they have the mound visits left represented by baseballs. The Braves have 4 left. And Real Muto is going to dig in.
But I like Tim Timmons. Before Chuck ever got to the baseline, he let Chuck know that's another trip. That's 2 trips, just in case he wasn't aware of it.
Newcomb's thrown strike 1 to 8 of 20 hitters in the game. But when he's gotten to strike 2, by and large, he's finished him off. And that's low to Real Muto. Ball 1.
He's had a little luck with his fastball against JT today.
That's rolled foul, and the Marlins catcher behind 1-2. Newcomb got to strike 2. 10 of the first 12 hitters he saw for the Marlins. Sails way outside for Real Muto. 2-2.
They got him to chase upstairs early today. First time up when he struck out. Wanted to go there again, but he missed high and away. His, like you said, his control a little sketchy right now.
And Real Muto is down swinging. Strikeout number 6. 1 on, 1 out. Now the double play could get you out of the inning.
Again went back to the fastball on Real Muto.
So again, Sean got to 2 strikes, 10 of the first 12 hitters. Strike 2 to 3 of the next 9. For what that's worth.
Well, another one of the scouts we were talking to is talking about Luis Gohara and talking about how he likes him and how his fastball plays because he thinks it's because he's such a big man that he hides the baseball. It's hard to pick the ball up. And I think you could make that same argument here for Sean Newcomb, who's 6'5", 255. I think his fastball especially is a little hard to pick up, and it's on you.
And he's still throwing hard. That one at 94 miles an hour. A 93 pitch performance in Miami today. Castro the cleanup man. 1 ball, 1 strike. And now 1-2. Newcomb ready. Here it is. What a nice save. Castro's had trouble timing the changeup of Newcomb. Grounded out to short. Hit a bouncer to third that Flaherty caught but threw errantly to first. Let's see if that last pitch sets up the change here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fly ball right center. Ender is there. He makes the grab. 2 out. And Brian Anderson, the batter, he's doubled twice. Once successfully, once a double play.
I was looking at my scorebook. I don't remember that second one.
Well, it's the only double play the Braves have turned today. It came in the 4th inning. Very easy inning for Sean. And ball 1 downstairs. Shane Carl's getting ready in the Braves bullpen. Pitcher spots due 3rd in the 7th for the Braves. And I'm told every day Sam Freeman's playing catch too.
Trying to be careful. But trying to be careful and pitching around this guy might bring the tying run to the plate.
Three balls, no strikes. And Anderson wasn't sure about that. He was about to toss the bat away. 3-1. Full count.
Fastball still got good life, making good pitches with it. Got the strikeout of Real Muto. And Anderson was late on that one.
Runner goes. Popped him up. Camargo drifting out. Enders sprinting in. It's going to be Enciarte with the right hand to make the play, and the Marlins can't cash in a leadoff walk. Sean Newcomb, 20 consecutive scoreless innings and a 3-0 lead.
Hats off for heroes, because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Sean Newcomb has thrown 6 innings of shutout, 1-hit ball. Atlanta has given him a 3-run lead, a first-inning run, thanks to Nick Markakis' bloop to left. Ender Arte hit a 2-out, 2-run homer in the 6th. And now Nick Whitgren takes over for Jose Urena, who departs after allowing only 4 Atlanta hits, but 3 Atlanta runs.
Whitgren worked here a third of an inning, first game of the season, of the series rather. Gave up a hit and a walk. 0.87 ERA works. .92 to 94 fastball for Whitgren. He too has a split finger pitch, a changeup.
No balls and a strike. And that's hit toward left. Maben on the run, slicing away from him, but he made a nice running catch. And Flaherty's retired for out number 1 here in the 7th. Marlins bullpen so far this year, 7 wins, 9 losses. They've saved 6. They've blown 6 saves. A lot of walks. In fact, they have issued only 15 fewer walks in 40 fewer innings pitched than their starters have this year. But Whitgren's been one of their excellent choices for Don Mattingly. Camargo got jammed and skies to right. And Anderson puts that away. 2 out. So you know what Don Mattingly says when this man comes in to pitch. It's easy to grin when your wit comes in. And your team's staving off defeat. As Bautista's going to come on and pinch hit. Yeah, Judge Smales mailed that one in to me today before the game.
That was nice of him. Love it.
Hey, how about Bautista? First homer as a Brave yesterday. Check swing back toward us. Strike 1.
Oh, I'm sorry those kids aren't here today.
Oh, that was their chance.
Yeah. There's the home run. He was trying to atone for a big error earlier in the game, and that helped.
So close the book on Newcomb. 6 innings of 1-hit shutout ball. He's got 20 straight scoreless innings pitched. And Sean's next assignment, if the Braves stay on their current schedule, would be against Miami again. After the Cubs come to town, the Marlins follow at SunTrust Park May 18th, 19th, and 20th. And the Braves go right back on the road again. The 0-2 pitch. The 1-2 now. Just missed outside. It'll be interesting to see how Brian Snitker's lineup looks when we go to Chicago. Again, the Braves are in this really weird stretch where they're seeing so many left-handed pitchers. That's one reason why Bautista's been playing so much. And they'll face a lefty tomorrow, Jose Quintana. We'll see if Jose gets the start or if Brian Snitker makes another decision. He hasn't come out and said it's going to be a platoon at third base with Flaherty and Bautista.
But it's looking more and more like that. Jose's got some bat speed today. More aggressive.
2-2. That one's lifted again to the right side. 3-0 Atlanta here in the 7th inning. Bases empty, 2 outs. Bautista pinch hitting. And he didn't get the high heat. So Whitgren continues his excellent work out of the Marlins bullpen. The Braves are out of luck in the 7th inning, but lead today 3-0 behind Sean Newcomb's 6-inning, 1-hit masterpiece. Time for the stretch. Let's send it back to Kelsey in our Atlanta studios.
Biggest fan, biggest supporter ever.
Yeah, how many after Little League practice sandwiches did your mom make? I mean, you think of all the sacrifices they make for these guys to get where they are. It's great that the big leaguers remember Mom, not just on Mother's Day, but frankly every day. It's really nice.
I think of Kathy. Happy Mother's Day to Kathy also for being such a great mom to Meg and Gabe, and being the #1 Cobb County chauffeur for all the sporting events. She knew where every gym and baseball diamond was, as all moms tend to be when their kids are active in sports.
Well, as Dad would have said, oh, well, Miss America would know where all the diamonds are, right? So, happy Mother's Day, Kathy. As Sam Freeman takes over here for Atlanta in the bottom of the 7th inning. Newcomb 6 innings of 1-hit shutout ball. Sam's got Brinson, Rojas, and Rivera coming up for the Marlins.
As you mentioned, the Braves are trying to cut back on some of Sam's work, and he did work an easy inning here at the beginning of this series. No hits or walks, struck out a batter. So he's had 2 days off. Their bench today, Miami's bench, has 3 lefties on there because of the left-handed starter Newcomb. They've got Shuck, Dietrich, and Bohr over there if needed.
Lewis Brinson's 0 for 2. He's starting to make a little more consistent contact, which is what the Marlins want to see. And he's a local kid, came back in the Yelich deal. As I mentioned briefly earlier, had a fantastic season at AAA for Milwaukee. He hits this one a mile high. He's 24 years old, so he's learning on the job in the major leagues. And Johan Camargo stays with it, makes the catch in shallow left field, right in front of Acuna, who say, man, let me play too. 1 out.
I don't know. That one was right up by the rafters. I'm not sure Acuna saw it.
I'm asking because I don't know. Has anybody ever hit a ball that rattled around in the rafters in this place?
I don't know either.
That would be interesting. Here's Rojas. He struck out and walked. Ow. Rojas just got nailed. Question is, where did it get him?
I think it hit him in the hand. Taking his helmet off would indicate he has no interest in heading to first. Must be bad. The back of his hand, perhaps. Or the wrist.
You hope it got some of that padding, which would afford a little extra protection. And as Rojas going to continue, he's going to take off the shin guard.
He was using his left arm for that and then changed his mind.
So Rojas and Freddie Freeman will have something to talk about when they meet at first base.
When he sees that replay, he'll probably be glad to hit his arm.
So a hit batsman with one out. Here's Yadiel Rivera. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. And that's scalded toward left, but right at Ronald, who hardly had to move. 2 outs. And Miami will now go to its bench, as Joe said. 3 left-handed batters. Derek Dietrich will be the first one. Available to pinch hit for Don Mattingly. Dietrich had a 3-run double last night, then made a critical error in the top of the 9th inning that brought Ender up, and the Braves scored 3 runs to pull away 10-5. Another infielder forced to play the outfield after Miami traded away Yelich, Ozuna, and Giancarlo Stanton. This guy's been a tough out for the Braves historically, but he's down 0-2 here.
Yeah, this is his first opportunity to atone for that horrible defensive mistake he made. You can see him in the dugout afterwards last night, really down in the dumps.
And a swing and a miss. It pops away from Suzuki. He can't find it. Dietrich's out. First base was occupied. The runner moves up 90 feet on the ball in the dirt, however, and that's the 3rd and final out of the inning. So Dietrich strikes out. 3 outs, and we go to the 8th inning. It's all Atlanta.
is all about timing, and pitching is upsetting that timing. That's exactly what Sean Newcomb did today, mixing all of his pitches, throwing fastballs in, changeups away, and curveballs. He was dynamite. That's the first at bat of the game to Maven. Fastball exploding. I'm going to call him the Big Easy because he doesn't work too hard, but the ball just jumps out of his hand. Can you walk 4 guys? Well, you only give up 1 hit? Absolutely you can. He's on a 20-inning scoreless streak, Chip and Joe.
He's rolling, Paul. He's en route to his 4th win if the Braves can hang on to this 3-0 lead that they hold after 7 innings. A couple of changes for Miami. It's Kyle Barraclough, and he's in his 18th game. Like Whitgren, he's been a pretty dependable pitcher for Don Mattingly this year. Derek Dietrich stays in the game to play first base. Rojas has to come out after he got plunked by Sam Freeman, who worked a scoreless 7th himself. So Albies, Acuna, and Freeman are back at it for the Braves, looking to extend the lead here in Game 4 of the series. 3 runs, 4 hits for Atlanta. No runs, 1 hit so far for Miami. First pitch swing and a liner to short. Right at Rivera. 1 up, 1 down. So often we have said in Major League Baseball that when a struggling hitter comes to the plate and has a little flair, something off the end of the bat, maybe that's the confidence builder he needs to get on a roll. That's exactly what Acuna had happen his last time up. A little squibber that went down the first base line for a leadoff double. He came home on Ender's 2-run homer. Let's see if he can drive a ball to a gap here. And that's in for a strike.
Meanwhile, Ozzy's 0 for his last 11, dating back to the home run he hit in Game 2 of the series.
Marlins have another change. J.B. Shuck is in right field. Anderson's out of the game. So Dietrich at first, Shuck in right. Shuck will hit 5th. Two balls and a strike for Ronald Acuna. 1 out, base is empty. The pitch.
Real Muto wanted that one. See Tim Timmons signaling that it was inside. It was a breaking ball. Must have broken around the plate for Timmons. Talked about Barraclough when he was in the other night about him throwing a heavy ball. What that means is it seems like he throws hard, and with the sink you're always hitting it off the end of the bat. That just feels like you're hitting a lead baseball.
(3-2). And Acuna takes ball 4. That's 2 walks today for Ronald. Maybe a sign he's seeing the ball better. And he's aboard in front of Freddie Freeman again, this time with 1 out in the 8th. Freeman singled on the first pitch of his day, scored in the first inning, walked in the 3rd, and grounded out to second in the 6th.
That ground out moved a runner over to third base, did his job.
That's smoked into center. That's going to be caught by Brinson. A beautiful catch.
That was a different route, wasn't it?
Barreled that ball, and Brinson caught it.
He was coming in, running down one lane of the mowed grass, and then had to go to his left quickly. Nice recovery.
So 2 outs for Nick Markakis. Nick 1 for 3. And upstairs, ball one. We've talked a lot about the potential trade value for the Marlins with JT Realmuto and the very heavy price a team we assume would have to pay to get him. The way Barraclough and Nick Whitgren are pitching, I bet you they bring back something good if the Marlins decide to move them. Especially with the way major league teams use bullpens nowadays and the depth that every big league club has, having 8, sometimes 9 relievers. One ball, no strikes for Markakis.
This is not an original thought. Don't have many of those, but you know, the talk about teams going to a 6-man rotation. Why not go to 4? Why not go the other way? I mean, they're only pitching 5 or 6 innings anyway. It's all the teams seem to expect out of their starters. If they get anywhere near 100 pitches, the thumb goes up. You're out of here. So if you're only going to throw 5 or 6 pitches and throw less than 100 pitches or right at 100 pitches, then why not just go to a 4-man rotation and then add another guy to your pen?
1 ball, 1 strike. And that is the interesting part. The 100 number is such an arbitrary figure because of the point I was making about Urania. He didn't have many stressful innings. He ended up throwing right around 100 today. But he's on the short end of the game and out because they were losing 3-0. On the other hand, Sean Newcomb, right around 100 pitches, gave up only 1 hit. As Acuna's running, Markakis took the strike and he's got a steal. But if you think about Sean's effort in the game today, he had base runners in every inning but the first, and most of the time was pitching with the skinniest of leads.
Good jump, good pitch to throw on, bad throw by Realmuto.
And the second steal for Acuna. So the point is, it's not so much the number of pitches, but the pressure of the game that I think affects the stress for a starter. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, and if you have a guy that does pitch a gem and goes 8 or 9 innings, then it's, if you've got all these other arms in the bullpen, you got somebody you can plug in his spot and push him back a day next time around.
Acuna at second, full count coming from Markakis. And time called. It's funny, if a man is pitching into the 6th inning, he must be pitching pretty well. But when that bullpen gate opens, you've got 3 or 4 options that you don't know how they're going to pitch on any given day. If you keep going there long enough, you're going to find one that's not going to have a good day in a close game. You may end up losing it. As Realmuto and Barraclough can't get together on a sign. That'll cost the Marlins a mound visit. Big lead at second for Ronald. Here comes the payoff. It's chopped. Foul at first.
Hey, Paul, I was just curious. We're talking about a potential of a 4-man rotation, given pitchers don't pitch too deep in ball games anymore. What are your thoughts on that?
I love that idea. Your arm acclimates to whatever program you're on. That worked for years. I think that what you do differently is you just don't throw a bullpen. You may play catch in the outfield, but it's a great idea. Also, the 4-man rotation worked when guys threw 8 and 9 innings to start, so I think it would easily work with people throwing 5.
3-2 pitch with 2 outs. And strike 3 outside corner. Retires Markakis and the Braves in the 8th inning. Bottom half coming up. 3-0 Atlanta the lead.
Williams. Your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by SunTrust. Confidence starts here.
Well, there's a
Back
lot
to
of bats
Miami.
there.
Yeah.
The Louisville Slugger plant. Pretty. That really is a good version of Dippity-Doo right there.
Nice. I like it. Dan Winkler is going to come on and pitch the 8th. Top of the order due for Miami. Mabin, Prado, and Real Muto. And Foulback. I'd like to continue the four-man starting pitching discussion. And Paul, if you're able to hear us, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. We could debate 4-man, 5-man, even 6-man rotation if you want. Something they use in, I think they've used in Japan, where they pitch every 6th day in Japanese baseball. Pitchers today are bigger, stronger, they throw harder, they're better conditioned, more nutrition, there are more scouting tools available. I'm speaking of starting pitching specifically. Is there a reason why they're throwing fewer and fewer innings, Paul? Because it seems like the exact opposite would be true. If all of those things are accurate that I mentioned, they should be pitching more rather than less.
No, you're right. The only variable that I would say, and I see pitchers in the past, even in my generation and before and today, is that pitchers today throw harder.
To second, Mabin's retired, 1 out.
I'm not saying they're better pitchers. I'm saying that they throw the ball harder with greater velocity, and so they stress their arm more, which I think is a little bit to do with some of the injuries today. But relaxing and making your pitch, velocity is not as important. You last longer, and again, they train so well. We know more now. We know more about diet, so I think they could certainly hold up. As for the Japanese pitchers, they never stop throwing. The teammates that I had, we could not get the Japanese pitchers to stop throwing. After their start the next day, they would throw 200 pitches, foul pole to foul pole, and long toss, and it got to be too much, so they just didn't last very long for those reasons.
So a little bit of overwork. Too much.
Yeah, overtraining is just as bad as undertraining, if not more.
So how do we, well, let me ask that a different way. Are we as an industry simply training guys to throw as hard as they can for as long as they can, Paul? Or are we teaching guys to get people out no matter how hard they throw?
There is an excitement that comes with velocity. And you can tell me, hey, it's not about velocity, that's not that important. But when you make draft picks based on velocity and you call guys up to the big leagues and you get excited about how hard they throw, and that's what's put up on the scoreboard, and exit velos put up on the scoreboard now, there is an excitement that comes with guys that can throw harder. I am not saying they're better pitchers, but it is important.
Well, the problem with that is, 6, 7, 8 years ago, you had 4 or 5 guys in the game whose average velocity was 95 miles an hour. Now there's probably 5 times that many. I've had a major league hitter tell me that 95 miles an hour is not special anymore because so many more guys can throw that way. So as an industry, are we harming the game by promoting that velocity instead of guys that can change speeds and get people out?
So in 2002, the average velocity from a starter was 88 to 89 miles an hour. If you threw 95, it was a big deal. Now starters alone are between 92 and 93 miles an hour average. That's a starter. I'm not even talking about guys coming in from the pen. You can have flamethrowers, but let's look at Newcomb. He's not getting guys out now because he throws the ball harder. He's getting guys out now because he is learning to add and subtract, and he's trusting his stuff. So when you have a guy with a good arm, I would say throw the ball comfortably. Let's not throw it at max effort. Throw the ball comfortably. I don't want to know how hard you can throw. I want to know how hard you can throw and hit your spot. So let's do both. Let's pitch.
Paul, I think the best example of that right now is Julio. Julio's got a stretch of 15 straight scoreless innings, and he's throwing 89 to 91, once in a while 92. He's pitching better.
That's an even better example than Newcomb.
Yeah, how many 88, 89 mile an hour fastballs did Julio's last opponent swing through for strikeouts?
Yeah, a bunch.
So that's something I'd love to see the industry really take a look at, is teaching guys to pitch and not just throw. And I'd ban the radar gun.
There's a guy that's pitching.
You bet he is. Winkler's been outstanding. He's dominating right-hand hitters. Tough day for Real Muto, who struck out for a third time.
Your local Ford dealer. And the Georgia Lottery.
The Braves are shutting out Miami. It's 3-0. The Marlins have mustered one hit. That was in the second inning, a one-out double by Brian Anderson, who is no longer in the game. Ender Inciarte had the big blow for the Braves, a 2-run homer in the sixth to make it a 3-0 score. And now Atlanta will take aim at Elizer Hernandez, who made his big league debut on Thursday, gave up a couple of hits, but nothing else.
It looked pretty good, I thought. Worked the 7th and 8th innings, gave up a base hit to Freddie Freeman, so can't hold that against him.
No. Speaking of pretty good today, did you hear what's happened at Gwinnett?
Lay it on me.
Colby Allard, 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts.
That's great. Is that it? Is that all you got?
No, there's more.
Oh.
I feel like I'm Marissa Tomei and my cousin Vinny. My clock is ticking. Austin Riley, 4 for 5, 3 homers, 8 RBIs, including a grand slam. I think he's played less than a week at AAA.
Have a day. Man.
And so with all due respect to your idea of 4 starters in rotation, Braves don't have enough spots for all the quality pitching they have. Go to 6. Turn them all loose. That's a good problem to have. If Atlanta can finish off this 3-0 win, by the way, it'll be their 4th shutout in their last 11 games. And Steve Lubo, our great stat man, tells us it would be the Braves' 6th shutout this year. Sean Newcomb's been involved in 4 of them.
How about that?
We're not there yet, though. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That one's hit towards second. Castro with a backhand. Long throw, and that's going to cost him an infield hit. Castro took forever to get to the ball, and then his throw didn't have much on it. And Ender will gladly take a 2-hit game and a good start to the 9th inning.
You know that saying or description? I mean, you say, well, that was half blank. That play was half blanked right there. That little flip underhanded, got nothing on it. Boy, that was very disinterested.
That was one of the reasons that the Cubs, I think, moved Castro. Not because he wasn't a good guy in the clubhouse, not because he couldn't hit or had all-star talent, but his defensive lapses drove the Cubs crazy.
Yeah, I wish I could say that on the air because it's so descriptive.
Well, you can once. A shot by Kurt Suzuki into center, and that'll break his 0 for 11. Excuse me, his 0 for 14. So back-to-back hits for Atlanta. Two on, nobody out.
Nice swing there by Kurt. Going the other way to get back on the beam. Nice. Didn't try to pull it. Drove it through that opening where they had shifted away from.
Here's Flaherty, 2 on, nobody out. Flaherty 0 for 3. And that's upstairs, ball 1. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Braves. No runs, 1 hit for Miami. The Marlins will stay home. Miami is off tomorrow. They host the Dodgers for 3 games, starting here Tuesday night, then come to Atlanta. Dodgers having all kinds of trouble. LA got beat by the Reds again yesterday, 5-3. Homer Bailey picked up his first win. The Dodgers are 16-23.
They've got a very odd lineup working right now. They did get a home run from Bellinger last night, though, I think. That was a good sign.
Forsythe and Turner are on rehab stints. They're still without Clayton Kershaw. But the Dodgers, thanks to the Diamondbacks' cold spell, are still within striking distance out west.
Well, that's why everybody in the American League Central ought to thank their lucky stars that Cleveland hasn't run off and left everybody. Everybody picked them to win the division going away.
Throw to third, safe. Enders swipes third base, his 18th steal.
I love the way he did it. He just kept bouncing, 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 and he had a huge lead and took off. Martin must think that he grazed him on the way by. See how he was bouncing toward third? They're going to look at it.
Looked like Martin tried to drag the glove right across the Atlanta script on Ender's uniform top. Let's take a closer look. Got him on the shoulder, but it looked like Ender already had his foot on the bag at first glance. So is there enough to change the call, which was safe at third?
That high third camera, I thought, had the better angle. Nice effort by Martin to even make it close. And that was another poor throw.
The verdict is in. He is out. So Ender caught stealing. First out at third base. Suzuki still at first. So Ender is gunned out for only the 3rd time this year. And Flaherty hits with a man at first and 1 out. He's got a 3-1 count. And that's driven down the line and pulled into the seats. Lifted toward left. Maben's got it. 2 out. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, Castro, Shuck, and Brinson are the 3 Marlins scheduled to hit.
Nice if Johan can get a base hit here, his last at bat in this series, and be ready for the makeup game in the homestand.
Julio Teheran and Jose Quintana square off tomorrow at Wrigley Field. The Braves are back home Tuesday night. Mike Foltynewicz and Yu Darvish. Brandon McCarthy and Tyler Chatwood on Wednesday. Mike Soroka, John Lester on Thursday. There's a base hit. Way to call it, Joe. A 2-0 pitch hit in the right field. And Suzuki will motor to third base where Atlanta has runners at the corners.
He'd been 2 for 19 on the road trip, so that will make him feel a whole lot better going to Chicago. He didn't pull off that. He couldn't have reached that ball if he had opened up his shoulder like he has been doing.
So Preston Tucker will come on and pinch hit. Let's think about how the lineup has worked today and how Brian Snitker has been able to use his bench. He got the potential for a lot of damage from the left side and the right side, with Bautista swinging from the right and Tucker from the left. Both men have pinch hit today. Bautista struck out in the 7th. Tucker hits here in the 9th.
Yeah, you're right. That's a lot of pop off your bench.
One 0 pitch is banged to the right side. Castro knocks it down. It pops away. That's going to score Suzuki, and Atlanta adds a 4th run.
Just keep adding on those 2-out runs, fellas.
All 4 of them today.
That'll be another base hit and an RBI.
21 of 26 runs with 2 outs against the Marlins. And that's fouled away by Albies, who's 0 for 4. He'd like to get in on the offensive fun. Two on, 2 out. And that sails way upstairs. 1-1 the count. Biddle and Vizcaino are the Braves relievers warming up. The lead too big for a save now. Makes you believe it might be Jesse Biddle.
Yeah, Vizcaino pitched last night and was probably hot and ready to go to come in and close this game until they got the 4th run. So it's not like he came in and pitched a whole inning, but he certainly threw a lot of pitches and enough to get warmed up down there.
I think Arody's just sat down, so looks like it will be Biddle. The 1-2 pitch stayed high. Ozzie 2-2 the count. Brian Woodrum, our producer. Mike Miller, our great director. Andrew Jenkins, our stat man and graphics operator. Gretchen Caney, our AD. Braves rolling on the road again, leading 4-0 here in Miami. And a swing and a miss takes care of Albies, and Atlanta is finished in the 9th inning. 1 run, 4 hits, 2 left. Last call for the Marlins. by Xfinity. Atlanta's leading 4-0 in Game 4 of the series. And Jesse Biddle will step to the mound in front of an announced crowd of 7,435 on Mother's Day Sunday.
Sad but true.
Marlins drew roughly 36,000 fans for this 4-game series with the division-leading Braves in town this weekend.
Some might say their arch rival. Jesse Biddle worked 2 nights ago. Finished up the game, worked the last 2 innings, gave up 2 hits but no runs or walks, struck out a batter. He seems to be getting better and better with the more work he gets.
And the Braves bullpen, the same. May to this point has been excellent. Braves ERA this month 2.31 in relief, averaging a strikeout an inning. And Castro jumps on the first pitch and singles to left. So that's only the second Miami hit of the game, their first since the 2nd inning. And Castro 1 for 4 is aboard. Here's J.B. Shuck. Seen him a couple of times in the series. Shuck hitting .222. One ball, one strike. And him buckled on that breaking ball. Pretty pitch.
That's a beauty.
Now the 1-2. It's slapped toward short. Long throw to first. It's going to be late. Everybody's safe.
He had an out at second. If he'd gone there, and Albies is telling him no way on the long throw. They had a chance on the force at second.
So that changes the complexion of the inning completely. Marlins have first and second, nobody out. You've got Brinson, Rojas, Rivera. They also have Justin Bour lurking on the bench. And Brian Snitker is going to go get Vizcaíno, it appears, who's wrapping up his warm-up tosses in the right field pen. Bad break for Biddle. 2 on, nobody out. Braves holding a 4-0 lead. Has done to so many other National League relief corps, and that's make a furious late inning comeback. The Marlins had only one hit entering the 9th inning. They've got back-to-back singles here in their final at bat. And Arodys Vizcaino will hopefully come in and say enough is enough as he seeks his 7th save.
He's been better and better too. He's cut down on his walks. Was brought into the game last night to get some work. Perfect inning with a strikeout.
Lewis Brinson, the batter. He's put it in play 3 times, but is 0 for 3. And the first one led her high in a strike, and Brinson didn't think much of that. Bohr is on deck. That's the Marlins pitcher's spot. And out of play foul. Don't want him coming up representing the tying run. So Brinson, a huge out to get for the Braves here. And Viz is ahead 0-2. Brinson, as you know, has struck out 48 times. He's got him set up here.
Good try. Good pitch.
Throw it there again.
Yeah, that was so close and had a little late movement on it, tailing back to the plate. That was a pretty good take on Brinson's part, but that was a dandy.
Had it by him, but Brinson just did get enough to stay alive.
Yeah, I got Timmons.
He's got the spring-loaded mask too. And that probably saved him a lot more discomfort on that wicked foul ball. One ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. 84-mile-an-hour breaking ball takes care of Brinson, and now Bohr can hit one to St. Augustine, and the Braves would still lead.
Well, it was a high slider. It didn't move much, and that's what Brinson was jumping up and down about. Was it was right there for the taking, and he missed it.
So Bohr off the bench. How big is that 9th inning run looking right now?
Huge. I know it always takes away or seems to take away a save if you're into that, but it also gives you the luxury of having base runners and not having to worry about it in the 9th inning. And as it turns out, it's become a save situation anyway for Vizcaino.
1 ball, no strikes. Swing and a drive. No doubt about it. Upper deck. He did hit it to St. Augustine.
What series with the Marlins would be complete without a Justin Bohr home run against Atlanta?
Well, remember last year he didn't go back-to-back games without an RBI. 3 of them with 1 swing here in the 9th.
Well, I got to tell you, pink is not his color. But the flames that were coming off that baseball that went out of here, he's seen before.
So now you got to win the game. And you've got a 1-run lead. You've got Rivera, then Dietrich, another Braves killer waiting on deck. And that's fouled off the umpire again. Strike 1. Two of the 3 runs belong to Biddle. Margot's long throw to first, the ill-advised play with the force available at second. That cost the Braves an out and a run. So now Vizcaino ahead of Rivera, and a shot to right, but right at Markakis, who goes to a knee to make the play. Hard hit ball, 2 out.
Big out right at him.
Woo. And here's Dietrich. Dietrich, as Joe said last night, thinking about one thing right here: lifting, separating, and tying the game. Derek struck out for the 39th time in 147 at-bats in the 7th inning today. However, Dietrich also has 3 homers.
And he clobbered that 3-run hit last night to left center.
Cameron Maben is on deck. Dietrich, the last hope for Miami. Bohr's blast made it a 1-run game. Now the 2-0 pitch. Dietrich seldom walks. I'd be shocked if he's swinging. As you know, Derek's right on top of the plate. He does not mind getting hit by a pitch.
No, sir. That's a key point in this. Good one to bring up.
Scalded. Freeman knocks it down, picks it up, and the Braves win the game. Vizcaino gave up 3 rockets in the 9th inning, but Atlanta has completed the series win against the Marlins by a final of 4-3. It was Freddie Freeman's day early, Freddie Freeman's day late with the glove, and the Braves have a 5-1 road trip.
That's why you guard the line, folks. Late in the game on the line, try to prevent an extra base hit. That's exactly what Freddie was able to do.
So Sean Newcomb picks up the win after 6 innings of 1 hit ball. Vizcaino the save. Atlanta takes 3 out of 4 from Miami.